Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
Peace and power, family. I'm Dr. Shakira Moore, and I'm excited to share with you this powerful event that's happening on February 11th, 2023. The inner alignment through your eyes and your numero. It's the joining of two ancient systems helping you to tap in and access your divine blueprint. I will be teaching a mini masterclass on iridology that will only be available in this workshop. After this class, you will walk away knowing the mystery to longevity via your iris, how to identify colors and patterns in your iris to avoid chronic disease, preparing your children for supreme health with iridology, and so much more. It is time for you to unlock unlimited potential and your internal greatness, because you are great. I'll see you in class. Peace and power.
It's the numerational session with King Simon. Text your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022. And get my books on Amazon now. So remember, our job as studiers of these metaphysical, esoteric knowledge is to help enhance people to be better. I, as a numerator, using the numbers, or quote-unquote numerals, and motivation to get people to understand why they need to activate their numbers to be their very best self and maximize it. Because the numerals hold a frequency. And if you're willing to turn up that frequency, then that frequency can help to guide you and navigate you to a higher height that will allow you to spiral to be your best self. Must remember that. Yeah, family! Woo! Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. King Simon presents Quality People. All right. As we're getting ready, family, of course, as we're getting ready, don't touch that dial. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell your cousins, tell everybody that King Simon is coming on. And of course, tonight's show is the one, the only KABA, HIAWATHA, KAMENE. What is that? The special guest, Dr. Angela Moulton, will be in the building also. So we're going to make that happen. And don't forget tomorrow, that will be on Rising Sun Show on YouTube at Magnet, Crystals, and Pyramids at 9 with Dr. Shakira Moore. And then, of course, we got a tribute to Dr. Layla Africa on January 2017. He been 76 years younger on that day. So we're going to be having him live and direct. We're going to be doing a tribute to him live and direct with special guests and family members coming through. And don't forget about the big affair happening in Queens, New York, Jamaica Performing Arts Center. on Saturday, February the 4th from 1 to 8 p.m. We're featuring KABA, HIAWATHA, Mfundishi, Professor James Smalls, River Islam, and so much more. Brand Nubian will be performing. Get your tickets right now at happyfilms.com. That's happyfilms.com. And don't forget, of course, want to remind everybody on Wednesday, February 8th, I'll be interviewing for the first time on this particular show Baba Ashwa Kwazi's daughter, Shashin Kwazi. Baba Ashwa Kwazi's daughter, Shashin Kwazi, certified integrative health coach and for melanated mamas. She'll be on here. The path of Kepara healing be in the building. Shashin Kwazi will be here. And of course, on the 11th, that's February the 11th, we're doing inner alignment through your numerals and your eyes, or through your eyes and numerals with Dr. Shakira Moore and Brother King Simon. Get your tickets at linktree/King Simon, the numero beta. And then Baba Phil Valentine is coming back to King Simon Presents University of Comedic Mindset on Sunday, February 12th at 7 p.m. with special guest co-host Dr. Shakira Moore. So we're going to do it. I might have a surprise. I don't know. I might have a surprise for this one. Another doctor. I'm thinking about bringing it on too. Let's have some fun. It's going to be a whole foursome right there, live and direct. So it's going to be good. And of course, big up to my brother here, Joshua Selden, who has a major book called I Am Publishing.com. That's IamPublishing.com. Supercharge your imagination with affirmations that will open the eye in your mind to infinite possibilities. Make sure you get the book at the website. And don't forget my Baba, the one, the only Lloyd Strayhorn is in the building. Make sure you hit him up at 800-581-4401. That's 581-4401. That's Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. Lloyd-Strayhorn.com. And don't forget, get the Infinite Times online magazine. Subscribe now. The link is right there. The link is right there on the bottom. It's a spiritual and metaphysics magazine, a new one ever put out. So big up to Sister Aisha that put this out. And of course, don't forget the one, the only Kesia L. Jones got a new book called Go Be God, Unlocking the Doors of Your Divinity. And of course, the tribute, my brother Ashwa Kwazi is doing a big thing with his wife, of course. Every year he does a 15-day trip and tour. Make sure you support that. He does a 15-day trip and tour. So make sure you go over there and show him some love and enjoy the tour if you get a chance to go over there. All right? Mm-hmm. And last but not least, of course, if you want to book a session with me, check it out. 347-496-1022. If you want to take my classes on Udemy, go to udemy.com and put in the word numerovation. Right now, the rate's up from $99.99 to $84.99. Or you can go to my link tree, /King Simon, the numero beta, and you can go straight to the link. And don't forget my books. Don't forget my books on Linktree, also /King Simon, the numero beta. Remember, yesterday's numerology is not today's numerovation. All right? All right. And remember, the affirmation for our elders by the one, the only, Dr. B. Serious. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection because none of us are perfect. Let me bring on my guest. Coming on after I bring my beautiful self on. Let's give myself a round of applause. Thank you. I don't deserve it. I stay. How y'all feeling? Let me turn down the music. I'm right now. That's right. Oh man, we're gonna have a good show today because we got the legendary KABA HIAWATHA KAMENE coming in the building. Let's get that around of applause. But before I bring on KABA at 10 o'clock, we got a beautiful sister who's been on my show now. She tears it down now with her energy. But she is a historian in her own right. She's an educator in her own right, especially dealing with the natural health and all that. And she loved the elders that be teaching that knowledge. We want to welcome my guest co-host right here on King Simon Present, Dr. Angela Moten in the building.
Hi.
What up, Doc? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I love the shirt. Who made it?
Oh, I gotta say, Black Excellence himself, of course, Black Dot and his son, Malcolm, they do it from over there at Urban Excellence. So go to their website, urbanexcellence.com or urbanexcellencetv.com. I was trying to find Urban Excellence, but I couldn't find it. I know I got it all somewhere. It's probably in the line. But I found their shirt. I
love it.
Pick up the Third Eye that made this. Third Eye, pick up the Third Eye. They made it all Black owned and operated. That's what we support.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's what we do. That's what we do with these buildings. That's what we do in these places. All right. But want to let everybody know that we're broadcasting live on Facebook, broadcasting live also on IG. We're broadcasting live on IG at King Simon Productions and broadcasting live at Facebook at King Simon and Facebook at King Simon Production. And of course, right here at King Simon Presents. Only quality people, family. Yeah! 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 So what's up? How's you doing? How you doing, girl? How was your weekend?
My weekend was beautiful. It was restful. You know, you always have to pour into yourself. So I feel good. I slipped up once, but I only had 2 White Castle cheeseburgers. Outside of that, everything was fine.
Not the White Castle cheeseburger. Jesus Christ. All right. Give you a round of applause for supporting White Castle.
No, I failed with that one. But
yeah, you definitely failed with that one.
Yes, I did.
At least you're honest.
Yes, confessing my faults. So I'm very excited about today because as an educator, KABA is that's my go-to.
Yes,
it's wonderful when you can go to your own because there's so many things he taught me. I'm telling you now, there's so many things that he taught me at events. He does, of course, he doesn't remember because he meets so many people. Me and the children, I've seen him quite a few times. We have pictures with him and the children and everything. So, you know, he taught me a lot of things that I even teach in my science classes because he was the one who said it. Meaning the 666 was the carbon molecule. That's why I was Black. How the kids need to learn standing up, facing the wall, like they used to write in Kemet. So all of those things, you know, he taught me how we have to learn, how we have to, there's a process in which Black minds learn. So this is an honor today to even be in his presence, even online.
That's right. That's right. And you know, your family got some legacy too. Your mom's knew Phil Valentine, Dr. Phil Valentine. You connected in multiple ways. Matter of fact, I met you at a lecture too. I met you at a lecture.
But Dr. Gregory, it was Dr. Gregory and Brother Polite. That was one.
Yes, that's where I met you at the event. Family, please thumb up, share, and like this broadcast. Remember, we're trying to build these algorithms, so please remember, sharing is caring. That's right.
Absolutely.
Sharing is caring. And big up to everybody on IG that's tuning in. If you want to come to YouTube, go to King Simon Presents. That's right. Go to King Simon Presents. And let me just remind everybody that this is a troll-free zone. So, you know, let me make sure I put that up because some of y'all forget. Respectfully.
What is a troll exactly? What is that? I don't even really. What is it?
I've seen the movie. I've seen the old big nose lion, ugly ass things that hang out on the different places. So they've taken this troll thing to another level where there's people that troll and try to disrespect people by putting in outlandish statements and sayings or overly doing too much on your live or your chant. Those are trolls according to now. Like I used to love block parties, but the block parties now is blocking somebody and that's it. And I'll put them in that private block party with themselves when I can't. When I don't feel like dealing with the negativity, because negativity got to go. So respectfully, again, this is a troll-free zone. So trolls, please take a stroll somewhere else. Let's get them around. What you gonna say, my sister? Go ahead.
No, I was just asking because when people say it's not that they're disagreeing, they're being disrespectful. They're
being disrespectful, and overly doing too much. And when they do too much, that's just not a good look. You know what I'm saying? That's just not a good look, and I don't tolerate disrespect. Since I don't do it on other people's page, why are you coming on my page and doing it? That's what I don't understand. I don't come up there and do you know those people that like to keep on sending message and saying the message just to get attention. This is all about paying attention in this society. Everybody got to pay for attention, or they're trying to get somebody's attention. So I understand what it is, but of course, stop acting like children. And there's sometimes they're grown ass men and women doing this. Big up to Lioness Crown. Big up to Lioness Crown in the building. What's up, Lioness? What up? What up? What up? All right. You're gonna learn today. Big up to my girl Lioness. She be doing big things all the time. If y'all didn't see her over there at the FBA, big thing that she was one of the opening speakers. But hold on, somebody just called me. Let me check. Go ahead and talk to him. I think KABA just called. Go ahead, talk to him.
Oh, he
please.
did? Okay. Well, today's going to be a great show, everyone. We have the Honorable Dr. KABA. He is going to be in the show today where he is discussing Black excellence. This is just an honor because he is an educator. He taught classes on Malcolm X. He has been an educator probably longer than I've been alive, which I'm going to ask him how long he's been educating. But this is a great opportunity today to have him on and to just be in his presence because, we're going into a new season in our lives, just, globally as Black people. I feel like there's a slight shift. I don't feel the shift is enough, but there is a slight shift that's going on. And we always have to go to our elders because the elders have wisdom. They have wisdom that we need. They have wisdom that we're going to need to even go forward and even how to structure it. So this is going to be exciting. I got my questions ready to ask him. So I cannot wait for him to come on the show. And I'm glad that everybody is on. And even though it's Sunday night, we have to support our fellow King Simon because, he promotes so many people. He promotes so many people. It's a beautiful thing that we have our own platform that we can do this through and, get this message out to so many people in the world. So I'm very excited about this. This is awesome. And I hope that this show was great and you get what you need to get out of it. I hope everything's okay, but, it's all going to be good. Again, I'm Dr. Angela Moten. I've been on King Simon's show before. I was actually on last weekend when I was discussing the state of Black women and my book. So my book, I talk about women, and it's actually my love letter to women. And it's a bit harsh because, women, when we talk, we don't really have a filter. I know I don't. So my book is really to women, even though men can read it, it's to women. And my book is basically saying how everything that we've gone through, everything that we have even experienced in relationships is our fault. So please get my book. It's called It's Your Fault. You can find it on Lulu.
Right.
We back? We're good?
Yeah, he's coming in now because I think it was the wrong
great.
email. Yeah, I think it was the wrong email I sent it to, and that's what he got.
Okay.
He had two emails, and I just found the actual email that I usually send it to. But again, like she just said, get her books. She is straight to the point. She just revised it, so a lot of stuff is coming out. She even sent me a copy because I read it straight to.
You got to get the free OG copy. This is it.
Yeah. So make sure you sign it. Make sure you sign it. Stop playing. It'll be
crazy.
Because I know how you get down. You know what I'm saying? I know how you get down.
Yes.
And family, make sure you hit her up on the Cash App, Angela Moten, 10/15. That's the time. That's the day she got married. Yes. And you believe a good friend of KABA, KAMENE, is the one that married her. Is the one, the only Dr. Ray Hagan. So get Ray Hagan around the applause.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Robert Ray is on point, man.
He was phenomenal. Just the process that he uses. Oh.
Yeah, well, he did. He did that for Professor Griff's wedding. I was there, so I was there.
No, I know. What I'm talking about before the wedding, what he does with the couples.
Oh yes, he meets. Right.
I learned four new words, and I know a lot of words, but he taught me 4 new words. Okay, I was like, here we go.
Well, you know, he's from Jersey, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. He was from Jersey, and he was on the same radio station I was on before I came on, but he was on WWRL radio.
Yeah, so it was just phenomenal. Yeah, he's awesome. It was phenomenal the way he analyzes the forms that he uses, the method he uses to really tell the couples who they are. It's phenomenal. It was awesome.
Yes, that's right. Well, I'm waiting for him to come on. Maybe he had to set himself up and all that. I know I sent it to that same one, but sometimes, I don't know what's going on with my brothers, but just in case, just in case, I want to make sure everything is well, so, hey, how's your children doing? They good? My
children is doing good. My 19-year-old, it's a little struggle, but other than that, she's doing well.
Yeah, I know. My 17-year-old and my 18-year-old is doing their thing. So I have to. Yeah,
these teenagers, they are, this is that transition from childhood to adulthood. It's so hard on them.
Right. And and KABA is a good person to talk about Black excellence for our children at that age, from childhood up to now, because he's educated every age.
Yes.
He's educated every age. And he's doing college, a professor, and I think he has a tenure somewhere. But, I'm proud of even knowing this brother and watching him for so many years. Of course, what a lot of the quote unquote scholars are doing today is they're just jumping online, doing their thing and pasting and what he had to do was go to libraries and study or go to Kemet or go to Ghana and go and then come back. And you had to present in front of Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark, and they had to approve of you.
This is why they're smarter. This is why they're smarter than us, because they really did the groundwork. Okay.
Exactly. All right. Exactly. I see you coming up in the background. Yo, let me tell you. And Dr. Angela, I know you've met him in several occasions in different places, but I am always honored. And I want to remind everyone before I bring him on, this is the big event that he will be speaking at for Hoppy. So get your tickets right now at hoppyfilms.com. It's going to be him, Professor Smalls, Mfudishi, of course, Riza Islam, Dr. Tutu, and brand new. So many people are going to be performing. But without further ado, let's welcome on the stage, the virtual stage, the one, the only, KABA, HIAWATHA, KAMENE. What's up, KABA, the KABA?
My family, my Hotep to my man, and to Sister Dr. Angela. Peace and Hotep. Thank you.
Hotep, Baba, how you been? How's the family?
Everybody's doing excellent, brother. Everybody's doing well.
Well,
and,
tell your beloved wife I send my greetings. Tell your beloved wife I send my greetings. I've been texting with Haru and of course your daughters and everybody. Send my greetings, brother, all the time, brother.
I will do that.
It's a pleasure, first and foremost. If y'all don't know who KABA KAMENE is, y'all haven't watched every Hidden Colors. Y'all haven't watched 1804. Y'all haven't watched every documentary that's been out there. And and brother KABA, and although Dr. Angela said it's not her first time meeting you, y'all been at different lectures together. She came up to you and but this is Dr. Angela, a very good friend of mine, and of course, and and she just got married, and guess who officiated her wedding was the one, the only Dr. Ray Higgins.
Wow. Yes, he did.
Dr. Ray. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
I've had y'all on panels together. You remember that?
Yes, I remember that. We were honoring Dr. Ben.
No, it wasn't Dr. Ben. We was honoring Richard King or Dr. Ben. Richard King, I think.
Well, Richard King, but I wasn't part of the panel. When it was Dr. Ben, Ray Higgins and I were together.
Right, Ray Higgins, right. Okay. That's right. I remember the Dr. Ben one, right? That's right.
Oh, I remember your presentations, brother. I remember your promotions. I don't forget those things. But I do remember Richard King. He was down there in Brooklyn.
Yes.
And Dr. Ben was at the National Black Theater.
Yes. And KABA, first and foremost, a lot of people, you got this event coming up speaking about Black excellence. And this is high level and high quality. And I'm saying it because Black level is multi-leveled. And I'm saying that for a reason because, I recognize Black excellence in what Dr. Angela is doing, of course, what you're doing, but also what young people are doing in this day and time as entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And getting into that cryptocurrency. So Black level is just not one, Black excellence is just not one level. But I wanted to ask you from a personal perspective, the lessons that your father and your mother shared with you that made you an excellent person that wanted to do what you're doing up to this day. What were some of those lessons from mom and dad on your side?
One of the most important lessons I learned is something that I always pass on to everybody, particularly with the young people. For those that may not know, my background is education, particularly our children.
Yes.
And I retired from the New York City Board of Education in 2009 after 31 years.
Yes.
And I taught college for 14 years. I've taught every grade. I've taught every subject. And one of my advantages is to be able to see us at every stage of our life, to be able to monitor all the great things and the positive things that happen that make us who we are. And I've also been able to observe all of the not so good things that happen that lead us to that other way. I grew up in a project. First 15 years of my life, I grew up in a project. I was exposed to the very same things that I see as I visit projects and I go into communities, and the community that I taught in South Central Bronx. So I've been able to monitor in so many different ways the track that we all go on and what makes us successful. And one of the things that I tell students that I grew up learning and understanding is that winners never lose. You either win or you learn how to win the next time. So many of us get very dejected if we don't win. Let's say a game or a test that we take. And I've often said that you don't fail when they say you fail. You fail when you don't try. And that's why one of the things I say frequently, and I'll probably say it at the end of this presentation, is keep on keeping on. It ain't over till you win.
That's right. That's right.
And that is our ancestors' mantra. If our ancestors had thought that their conditions on the plantation was it, many of us wouldn't be here today. And it is that constant moving forward. The other thing is, and I was going to look for the quote so I could quote it exactly, but I'll just paraphrase because I've heard Dr. King say it and I've heard it said. Whatever you do, be the best at what you do. You know, he said, you might not be an oak tree, but be the best scrub that you can be.
Right.
You know, you may not be, you may not attain in your life what's called a station that is, let's say, a doctor or a lawyer. But the bottom line is that there is great respect and regard for FedEx workers. That's how we get what we get. A lot of what we are successful at is because of what they have delivered to our homes. If you work for the Metropolitan Transit Authority, you literally are the circulatory system of the community.
That's right.
That bus driver, that train conductor is very important in your life.
That's right.
So it's not your station in life that's important.
Right.
Be the best bus driver. You know, be the best FedEx worker.
That's right.
Be the best nurse. You may not be the doctor, but be the best nurse. And so many times we put people in positions of power where many of them, some of the most unsuccessful people I've met have been doctors.
Yep.
Just because you're a doctor don't make you successful. It's how you do your job.
Wow.
And so what I've often said to children is winners never lose. You either win or you learn how to win the next time. And whatever you do in life, be the best at what you do.
Yes.
And so those are the lessons that my parents brought me up in.
Okay.
This was the atmosphere in my home.
Yes.
My father, being from Alabama, came up here when he was in his 20s, went to World War II. And he used to always say to me, Junior, because I was Booker T. Coleman Jr.
Right, right.
Junior, I wished on my son what I should have done. And I've often thought about that because all of us continue in the legacy of those that came before us.
Yes.
And as I've studied African civilization, African culture, every society was always based on making the children better than them. And so I've often said to my children, my own biological children, and even the children I taught, my grandson, I want you to be better than me. And when I say better, I'm not saying that there's a competition. What I'm saying is that the advantage that I want to give those that come behind me is to be in a better position to do exactly, accelerate the society, make it better than it is. Because Dr. Clark, who I consider to be my teacher, I am not better than Dr. Clark.
Right.
But I certainly have learned so much from him. I'm continuing his legacy as it relates. He was not able to develop schools. I was. But I took everything that he represented and Dr. Ben and been able to take it forward. As you know, Dr. Sebi.
Dr. Sebi, yes.
Okay, I've been going to Dr. Sebi since 1988.
88, yeah.
And if we can just cut out all of the nonsense that we've gone through in health and nutrition and have a healthier lifestyle, because I grew up spare rib, bacon, chitlins, okay, whole pig feet, pickled pig feet, hot pig feet. That's what I grew up on.
That's right.
But I didn't know better.
That's right.
But once I met Dr. Sebi and Sister Ma'at,
Yes. Big up to them.
always, then
Yeah.
I know better. And once you know better, you do better.
That's right. That's right.
And so now when I speak to people, I can talk to them about some of the pitfalls you go in as it relates to your diet.
That's right. That's
Exercise.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. You must exercise. You have to keep your circulatory system moving around. When you become, as you mature, your liquid systems begin to dry up because of the nature of how long those liquid systems have been. Your blood, your mucus, all of the different hormones that run through your body, they all start drying up as you mature. That's only natural.
That's right.
But if you keep the proper exercise system in place and the proper diet in place, because with all this information that we're giving out here, it means nothing if you're sick.
That's right. That's right.
This is a holistic thing. And so my message to our people is, and it's something that M. Fudishi and I spoke about when we did the last Happy Peace. He said, mediocrity is not in our vocabulary.
Yes.
You be the best at what you do.
That's right.
You always strive. And I say work ethic.
Yes.
Your work ethic. There has to be an excitement. At the same time, I understand that living in a Western system that diminishes your contribution make you wonder, well, why do I want to work so hard for somebody else and make them the money?
That's right.
Okay. When you work in a bank, you making the bankers who run the banks billionaires.
Yep.
But they give you a scrap salary.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is this, if you do your job well, you'll learn how to build your own bank.
That's right. That's correct. That's correct.
You FedEx, if you do your job well, you'll learn how to run your own communication system. So that this is what we have to do. And what I'm encouraging people now is to, if you're a janitor, find a business that's hiring in the solar power system, a janitor. Okay, if you're a janitor, work there.
Yeah.
If you're an office clerk, get a job in a solar plant. Learn solar power, because solar.
I got a book. I got a book just because you said that a few years ago. I got a book on it just to study it, just because you said it. Just because.
The future wealth of the planet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And just recently, in December, they were able to artificially create the fusion of the hydrogen atom. That has changed the entire dynamics of the future world. Because what they've done is they've been able to replicate what the sun does all day long, which is at the base of solar power. Now, what happens when you live in the Caribbean? You live in Central South America. You live in Africa. You live in the southern parts of the United States. You live where the sun shines the brightest. Isn't it interesting that where the sun shines the brightest, the people are the most melanated?
Exactly.
It's like wealth has been put in your backyard. And if you want to start with kindergarten children, teach them about the sun. Just teach them about the sun. Teach them the different parts of the sun. Get a children's book.
Yeah.
If you can get to a black bookstore, do that. If not, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever you can get books, get a book on the sun and what the sun does all day long.
Yes.
You can go to my webinar. I have a whole series on the sun and solar power using the Aten text.
Yes. Baba Kaaba, before you move on, people that are just tuning in, we got, of course, Baba Kaaba KAMENE in the building. Of course. That's his link tree right there, linktree/KABA KAMENE. Of course, his website is www.KABA-KAMENE. And of course, he is an educator, an author, a historian, a husband, a father, and much more. You can email him at, of course, KABA KAMENE. You can contact him via Instagram at KABA KAMENE. His email is kamene777 at AOL. And of course, spread love via Cash App at $KABA KAMENE 7. That's right. Now, Dr. Angela, you have something. Please ask your question, please.
Yes, I have a question. Hi, Dr. Kaaba. Do you feel that Black excellence requires us as African people all over the planet to separate from everybody else?
When you say separate, you mean from other cultures or from
Yes,
ourselves?
from other cultures, and sometimes it may be from ourselves. So yeah, both actually.
Well, I would say situations alter cases, but unity is always the answer. But uniting with the right people.
Okay.
And you see, we have to know the difference between a friend, an ally, and an enemy.
That part.
Okay. And the idea is that, I'll give you an example. In World War II, Russia and China were our friends. Yeah. Germany, Italy, and Japan were our enemies. And we worked with Russia and China to defeat Germany, Italy, and Japan. After the war, Germany, Italy, and Japan became our allies. And Russia and, the Soviet Union and China became our so-called enemies. We as Black folk tend to hang on to our allies too long. And we don't realize that in being an ally, we came together to defeat a common purpose. But after you have defeated that common purpose, your ally can become your enemy. And we tend to hang on to our allies too long, thinking they're friends. Allies are not friends. Allies are people we have a common agenda with for that particular time. And so separation takes us away from things that we need to know. Like, for instance, even with my research, there are many people of European descent, Asian descent that I research.
Yep.
I don't discard their information simply because of their cultural background. So that there are some that may think, well, if it's not just Black, then it ain't going to work. Now, I understand that concept. Yeah. Because when I go for my legitimacy, I go to a Dr. Clark, a Dr. Ben, a Sheikh Anta Diop, okay, a J.A. Rogers, Arturo Schomburg. Yes. Okay. There's no doubt they are my main focus. But I've come upon a Gerald Massey, and I've come upon an Albert Churchward, and I've come upon many people outside of the African culture, so to speak, that I find their work very valuable. And so to answer your question, this is what Ma'at demands: balance, harmony, to be able to decipher for yourself that balance of, no, I don't need them. No, I don't want to associate with them. And sometimes they can look like us, and we don't want to associate with them. So that it becomes important. And now, again, we get into this concept of foundational Black American and Pan-Africanism. This is another kind of situation that we're in now.
Yeah. Okay.
My daddy's from Alabama. My mommy's from Boston, Massachusetts. I am a foundational Black American. I trace my ancestry back to the plantations of the United States. But every cell in my body is Pan-African.
Yep.
And it's important to understand I can be a proud foundational Black American and be totally dedicated to working with my brothers and sisters from the Caribbean, from Central and South America, from the continent of Africa. We have to know the difference. Foundational Black American is not anti-African. It is not anti-other than those of us in the United States. Foundational Black American is a legacy as it relates to reparations. And reparations, I define as the future of our children. So that we have to be very clear. When you are from Jamaica, England owe you a check. When you're from Haiti, France owes you a check. When you're from Brazil, Portugal owes you a check. If you're from Puerto Rico or República Dominicana, Spain owes you a check. If you're from Ghana, Kenya, England owes you a check.
Yeah.
If you're from Mali, France owes you a check.
And John Henry Clark said that everyone has been our enemy.
Bottom line.
One of them have been our enemy. He said it. I remember that lecture.
That is it. And they owe us a check. So that we have got to understand we can't separate ourselves from nobody.
Right.
Ain't no one group gonna get out this alone. And so I'm looking for those people of African descent in the diaspora, be you speaking Dutch from Curaçao or Suriname, or if you're living in Holland, if you speak the French of Paris or Haiti, wherever you are, wherever Africans are, Africa is. And wherever Africa is, I'm home.
Powerful. Let's get that a round of applause. you know, you be mic dropping like 10 mics at the same time.
Right?
Right?
They need that. Yeah, they need one of those.
Look, I got to take a real hard break real quick, but we're going to be back with the legendary himself, KABA, HIAWATHA, KAMENE, and our special guest host, Dr. Angela Moulton in the building. Don't go nowhere, family. Your brother King Simon will be back after these messages, because that's what we do right here on KSP TV. Don't touch that dial.
One thing I've realized over the years, especially being a disaster preparedness instructor under the IPN, International Preparedness Network, and also studying the metaphysical arts and esoteric arts, is that our people are reactionaries. They're not proactive. And one thing in the disaster preparedness community, they always stress being proactive. And like the disaster preparedness community, in numerology or astrology or cardiology or all the rest of the metaphysical sciences, they are striving to help you to be more proactive in your life instead of reactive. It's not going to work when you just react to everything, when it's really about being proactive. So when we come to someone like me or others, they are supposed to help guide you to your highest and wisest levels by using proactive tools to make you a better person.
Peace and power, family. I'm Dr. Shakira Moore, and I'm excited to share with you this powerful event that's happening on February 11th, 2023. The inner alignment through your eyes and your numeral. It's the joining of two ancient systems helping you to tap in and access your divine blueprint. I will be teaching a mini masterclass on iridology that will only be available in this workshop. After this class, you will walk away knowing the mystery to longevity via your iris, how to identify colors and patterns in your iris to avoid chronic disease, preparing your children for supreme health with iridology, and so much more. It is time for you to unlock unlimited potential and your internal greatness, because you are great. I'll see you in class. Peace and power.
Hey family, it's King Simon, the founder of Numerovation. Remember, if you want to book a session with me and get a Numerovation consultation, all you have to do is text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. And if you want any of my books, go to linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. That's King Simon the Numerovator. And your books are available on Amazon. Remember, I'm the El Numero Uno, the Numerovator himself. And if you want to book a session, all you have to do is text me. Make sure you get my books on Amazon. I love you. Peace.
That's right, family. We are black again, and we are going to bring everybody black in the building. That's right. Oh, y'all don't know. Brother KABA, KAMENE is dropping it like it's hot. And I mean knowledge. And, of course, Dr. Angela's in the building doing what she loves to do best. Now, Doc, Baba KABA. Now, looking at the times that we were in as far as scholarship, and then looking back at those excellent scholars, and I believe the young folks are coming up, but they never had the same scrutiny that you had in front of a Dr. Ben or a John Henry Clark or Ivan Van Sertima. What is the different flavor? What do you see, and what do you see what do they need now to make them be more proficient with the information now? So since you had to go through that type of scrutiny with those great elders back in the day, please.
Well, for me, I think, and King Simon and Dr. Angela, we go back to the days of First World Alliance.
First World Alliance. Wow.
Okay, we're going back to the late 70s. We're going back to a time when you had African Echoes in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So when they brought a speaker in to speak on Saturday, let's just say it was Dr. Asa Hilliard, Nana before Montwakia. On Sunday, he would then go to New Jersey and speak, and then he'd go back home to Georgia, maybe Sunday night or Monday. We had the great Alombe Brath, who had his program on Monday night.
Yes.
At the Harriet Tubman School on 129th Street. Then we had Alton Maddox, the great attorney at war, that had the United African Movement. We grew up in that. I call that the golden age.
Yes.
That is where I came up out of, going to these different lectures. But then we didn't have internet back then. Can you imagine what would have happened if you were able to have a Dr. Clark and Dr. Ben?
Oh, man. Right.
Okay, at this type of way that you could bring them up on Zoom or on StreamYard, that they could go across the world. Okay, imagine that. But they didn't have that.
That's right. That's right.
So they had another way of doing it. I remember, and see this, what I'm really going to get into with you is technology.
Please.
And what technology has done. I worked with Dr. Chancellor Williams in 1984. I was doing my first book on Professor William Leo Hansberry.
Yes.
And I went out to Washington, D.C., where he was living. Dr. Chancellor Williams, of course, the author of The Destruction of Black Civilization and also The Construction of Black Civilization. That's another book that folks don't really focus on.
That's right.
And I remember when I met him in 84, it was April of 84. And I remember that he was really feeling, he lived in a senior home in DC.
Yeah.
And I remember he was legally blind at this time, if not totally blind. And I remember he was really taken back because in one of the places where his work was, he had a fire or a flood. I'm not sure, but his books, his writings, and a lot of that had been destroyed. I look back now on where we are right now, and I wonder if he had Kindle, would he have worried about that? If he had a passport that could hold 1,000 terabytes of all of his writing, would that flood or fire have been so devastating to him? I would imagine it might be, because I've got a library here. And if I were to lose my books, it wouldn't be good, but I've got Kindle. And so what I'm looking at in this generation is that there's a different way of being able to get information. But don't think that because I call them YouTube scholars.
Yes, me too.
The key is when you sit in front of Dr. John Henrik Clarke, there were times I presented at First World Alliance in the mid-90s. This was years after I had been going since the late 70s.
Yes.
And for those that know, we used to present in a church.
Yep. Yep.
And we wouldn't necessarily be at the pulpit, but we'd be in front of the church. Right? And to either side, there were pews of seats.
Yes.
Where I used to look over and I would see a John G. Jackson and a Shashi McIntyre, and a Dr. Ben and a Dr. Clark and an Edward Scobie. Yes. These were the giants.
That's right. They were the giants.
And here I am, this young blood talking, And it was quite an experience to be in their presence.
Yes.
YouTube has its place.
Yes, it does.
This is the new way of getting information. It's phenomenal.
Yes.
To be able to tap into it. But don't lose the social context. Africans are person to person. There's nothing like being in the presence of somebody.
Yes.
There's a human dynamics that occurs when you're with somebody and you're sitting with them. We have scores of people now, such as Brother Tony Browder.
Yes.
We have scores of people that are now going to Kemet. We have Omega XL. All around the world, there are people now going to Kemet to study, going to Ethiopia, going to Congo, going to various parts of the world to bring troops of people there.
Right.
To study history. But back in the day, it was Dr. Ben.
Yes.
I first went to Kemet in 1983. We had the largest group. We had 249 people. The next time I went to Kemet was in 1987, the Nubian Conference. There was close to 1,000 black folk.
Wow. Wow.
We had 30 buses that used to careen through Kemet.
Yes.
They wrote us up because our Nubian brothers and sisters had never been exposed to black people before, so to speak.
That's right.
You know, for the most part, when black folk were going, you know, they were going to the Holy Land, or what's called Israel. Dr. Ben started taking us to the Holy Land, and it was Kemet. And so they changed the entire dynamics of the relationship between Africans in Africa and Africans in America. I would even say for West Africa. There are many West Africans being exposed to foundational Black Americans, Caribbean African peoples, people from all around the world being exposed for the first time. Because, I mean, we were going, but not in those numbers. Right. I remember when I was in 87, there was a teacher in the Nubian school that said that the year before, this was 1986, the first time in his life he ever met an African-American heart surgeon.
Wow.
Okay, so they didn't even know of our success there. And so what going to Kemet and going back to Africa has done is created a whole nother opening of the world. But William Leo Hansberry was doing this in the 1920s.
Yes.
He was the teacher to Nnamdi Azikiwe. He was the teacher to Chancellor Williams. Kwame Nkrumah used to leave Lincoln University in Pennsylvania to come to D.C. to sit with William Leo Hansberry. Dr. William Leo Hansberry was known as the father of African students in America. He was a Pan-Africanist. So that I think that as we move through this process, we are now sharing. And to the young people, I send my regards and respect. There's a lot of young people out here doing podcasts.
Yes.
You know, Voice of the Ancestors with Brother Chase.
Brother Chase,
you know, you've got 3 Millie podcasts with Brother Caleb.
Brother Caleb, yep.
Okay. And there's many others that are out here doing podcasts. Remember, Like It Is with Gil Noble.
Yep.
ABC. Okay.
That's what I grew up on. Yeah.
That was before cable TV.
Tony Brown Journal.
Tony Brown's Journal was another. Positively Black was another.
Right. And don't forget, what's his name? Bill McCrary. Bill
McCrary. That's right.
Yeah.
But you see, and then when those shows went off, we didn't have anything else.
No, we didn't.
Okay. And we marched to keep Gil Noble. I remember one time we had to march outside ABC studios to keep Gil Noble in place.
Shame.
Gil Noble then joins the Ancestors.
Yep.
Okay. But it's a different world now. We don't need no TV stations. Look at what we're doing right here. We are our own TV stations right now.
And you know what you said, Baba, because you and I share a place that we worked at, WWRL 16.
There we go.
You did it before me, but I was there. Gary Burr was there. Frankie Crocker went through there. I went through there and Ray Higgins was also in there too. People don't really know. Dr. Jeff Gardere, all of us was there. And, and that form of excellence, a lot of us are not even paying attention to even the little things that we've all done and that they've done from that time. Because that's what I loved about Baba Dick Gregory. He used to acknowledge the janitor in the place. He used to acknowledge the people that's clean up and set up the chairs anytime he got there, And what I admire about you, especially when we was at UAM, of course, with our the late Lyola Maddox, and of course her husband. How is he doing it? How is Alton Maddox doing? You know how the attorney is doing?
So far, so good. He could, of course, always use our support.
Yes.
He deserves our support, and much of who I have become comes through him, allowing me to speak at the Slave Theater.
At the Slave Theater, yep. That's how
allowing me to speak at the Masonic Lodge.
That's
allowing me.
That's why I seen you, sir.
Various places.
Yep. That's why I seen you. So,
attorney at war, the warrior at law,
and that's why I'm glad that you and Professor Smalls and many of the elders support the young people, no matter how they're flowing. You still give them support. We got children, we got grandchildren. We still give them support, and that's what I love to do. I give them support because to even be in front of one of my teachers, and my teacher said, I'm the numerologist for the future, Lloyd Strayhorn. And said that, it brought tears to my eyes. I started crying because it's like being in front of Dr. Ben or Dr. Clark saying
That's
it.
right. That's right.
You know
Numbers and you.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's
Oh man, we go back. In fact, I remember when the WLIB was being broadcast from the Apollo Theater. Remember when they used to broadcast? This was in the 90s. And I remember Lloyd Strayhorn's program came on after Gary Bird.
Yep.
And this would have been 1994.
Yes.
Regent Adelaide Sanford, the brilliant educator, principal of a school in Brooklyn. And Dr. Edward Scobie. And myself were invited to speak with the grandmother of hip hop, Dr. Camille Yarbrough.
Camille Yarbrough, the great one. I got to get her on there. I got to get her on, man.
Now, Gary Bird had gone to West Africa with Dr. Jeffries.
Yes.
So Camille Yarbrough was substituting.
Doing the show, yeah.
And I remember this was the first and only time I've been on the Apollo stage. Because they used to broadcast.
At the Apollo, yep. I used to be there.
And across the street, I used to always go to lunch at Mart 125.
125.
Okay. This is where I first met Dr. Khalid Muhammad.
That's well, I was in the nation. So
okay. So that's where I first met him. We knew of each other because of the United African Movement and Attorney Maddox, but we had never met personally until that day we were up at Mart 125.
That's right.
But the key thing is that this was when Dr. Jeffries was going through the throes of him being attacked.
Yes, I remember.
This was 94. I remember. Right. And the key that we all were going through was to be able to develop an understanding. So as we were going through this interview, we were talking about various things.
That's right.
And this is when, going back to WWRL and inner city broadcasting, 1973, 74, WLIB, Black Talk Radio. Bob Law was the director of community affairs at this time when I was there. I was there in 1977, 78. And Sonny Taylor was the program director. Bobby J was my mentor. He's the one that I used to go to.
Bobby, Eddie OJ. That's where he got Eddie OJ from.
Following Bobby J's program was Jeff Troy. That's when Jerry Bledsoe was there. I go back when the GBE was not the global Black experience. It was the Gary Bird experience.
That's right.
He was on at midnight.
That's right.
This was the
Bob Law. Don't forget Bob Law, brother.
Bob Law was the director of community affairs.
Don't forget Bob Law.
Okay, Dick London was the news director.
Yes.
Okay, this was my time. So when I look at hip hop and I look at rap, we was mixing music back then.
Yes, it was.
And so it's just important that we give this legacy to our children and to help them understand you didn't do this on your own.
That's right.
I respect your freeway. I respect what you're doing, but you got to understand there would be no hip hop if there was not doo-wop. And there would be no doo-wop if it wasn't bebop. Bebop came out of rhythm and blues and ragtime. That came out of the blues. The blues came out of the spiritual. The spiritual came from a prayer that we would hope to go back to Africa where everything came from anyway. And so this becomes the legacy that we give to our young people. And my thing is, I love and respect them no matter what. I was with them all my life. I spent my life with children. Kindergarten. Can you imagine this Black man sitting on the floor, cross-legged, reading book to 4- and 5-year-olds?
I can imagine.
What I did. I taught math. I taught science. I used to take them to the bathroom, and they used to always want to hold my hand.
Yes.
And the thing is that we used to line the children up according to size, but I could never do that.
Right.
Because most of the children wanted to hold my hand because they didn't see Black men.
That's right. In the schools.
In the schools, particularly kindergarten. A lot of the adult males are either in middle school or high school.
That's right. That's right.
But to get someone, a young brother such as myself, beginning in 2009, kindergarten teacher, I'd walk with the children, because you take them to the bathroom, like 10, 15, or you take them to lunch. Okay. What I used to have to do is alternate. Like we started off with size place. But then size place, the children who were not the tallest would go to the back of the line so that the next group could come because they wanted to hold my hand. I could write a book on some of the children that said, you look like my daddy. You remind me of my daddy.
Wow.
I wish you were my daddy.
Oh.
Can I call you daddy? To my response is, I am your daddy.
Get him a round of applause. Get him a round of applause. Get them babies a round of applause, man. Oh,
I did not bring you into the world biologically, but when you're in my presence, there's an African tradition. Every adult male is Baba, and every adult female is Mama.
Right.
So I am your daddy. And if ever you would like to speak to me as if I were your daddy, if there's anything you ever want to talk about, you are free to always come and talk to me. I can tell you stories of things that happened. There was when in second grade, there was a young lady. I was teaching over Harlem River Park Bridge in the Bronx. And I remember at this time I was an assistant principal. And I remember during breakfast, because I used to do breakfast duty, this young sister came up to me. She was in the second grade. She said, she said, Monique, and I remember the name. She said that she's afraid to talk to you, but she has something that she want to tell you.
Right.
And I said, well, what does she want to say? Do you know? She said, well, I'd rather this is how sophisticated this second grade, seven-year-old. She said, I'd rather her tell you, but is it all right if she come talk to you? And I saw Monique sitting down at the lunch table. I said, sure, she can come talk to me.
Right.
Long story short, there was a pedophile that was trying to abduct children.
I was about to talk about that.
And they were trying to lure the children. They were trying to lure this young lady into the car.
Whoa.
And Monique was telling me about what was going on. And she said, what can I do? I said, well, have you told your parents? And she said, no, I wouldn't tell my parents. I'm afraid.
What?
And I said, no, but you got to tell your parents, honey. And I said, particularly now that you've told me, I said, can I bring you in my office?
Wow.
And what we can do is we can call mommy or daddy.
Wow.
And we can talk I'll talk to them.
Wow.
But she was afraid. She said, okay. Because this is the way children are,
Of course. Of course.
See, and this is one of the golden things I had with my own biological children.
Right.
You can tell me anything.
Anything, yes.
I'd rather you come to me before you go to somebody else.
Exactly.
And so I called parents up, and then the parents said, well, what should we do? I went to the principal. I spoke to the principal because now it's not just in my hands and not just in the parents' hand, it's in the school's hand. So we called law enforcement, and what they did was that they set up a sting.
A sting, of course.
And they said to the young sister, do you mind being a part of this? And for some reason, she attached herself to my presence.
Yes.
And see, I used to park my car in the garage over at that area. And so I said, anything I need to do, I'll do.
That's right.
And long story short, they got him.
Good.
But the point I'm trying to make when you're dealing with children, with my experiences, and having gone through this process, when I started teaching 1979, Dr. Angela and King Simon, Rapper's Delight was on the radio.
Whoa, wow. Him it, the hop, the hip.
That's it. That was the beginning of rap music on the radio.
On the radio, that's right.
Or at least mainstream radio.
Mainstream, yes.
I watched this. I watched the rap that came out of Gil Scott-Heron and Sonia Sanchez and Nikki Giovanni, the last poets. I watched that get into sex and gangster rap.
Yes.
And then I watched that grow into what it is today.
That's right.
And my thing was, it was up to us to teach the young people the history. We could have owned it. Man, when I see what the Lotto is doing, they stole our numbers.
Yes, it did.
They stole our numbers and created a multi-billion-dollar business.
That's right.
Made our numbers illegal and made theirs legal.
Casper Holstein, December 7th. He was born December 7th. He ran the numbers in Harlem, the first to start it. Yeah.
Okay. Had we controlled the numbers, that would have been our business today.
Wow.
Had we controlled horse racing, dog racing, we did that.
That's right.
That's why they call cowboys. We were the original cowboys.
That's right. Now, hold on, Baba. I don't know. Dr. Angela want to ask a question. Please, Doc, go ahead, ask a question so we can keep on moving with it.
Of course. You were already touching on it when you were discussing how you have more males in high school and middle school that are teachers. I left the school I was teaching at because the children were completely out of control. So my question is, well, the statement first, most schools are 80% female, from administration to the teachers now. So my question is, do you think that for us to achieve Black excellence educationally, that we need to have more males at every phase of the educational, level, instead of, when you get to college, because a lot of kids don't even go to college anyway. So if you have to go to school from kindergarten to 12th grade, do we need more males in the educational system?
When I was appointed as a teacher, I started teaching 79, but I was a substitute. I became appointed in 1981.
Okay.
When I became appointed, and appointed means that's when they start counting you as a teacher.
Right.
But they may not know. Up until then, you don't have necessarily coverage. At that time, we didn't have medical coverage.
Right.
We didn't get paid in the summertime. We only got paid for what we did.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get appointed, that's when your numbers start going. That's what allowed me to retire in 2009 with 31 years.
Wow.
I got credit for those years, but they started counting my experience in 1981.
Okay.
There were female teachers. There was a junior high school above me, and I was in the elementary school. And there was a respect that those teachers had for me. Sisters. We call them crackerjacks. That's the type of teacher that when there's a teacher in the room, has no control over the class. Everybody going buck wild. And this teacher walk in and she just put 2 fingers up. Everybody starts quieting down. Then you always got the one that's not aware that the teacher's in the room.
Yep.
And all of a sudden that student looks around and sees that everybody's quiet and then looks up and gets quiet simply because they know that Miss Williams is in the classroom.
Right.
Okay. Those were the teachers that took me under their wing and began to show me how to be their type of teacher. So I first wanted to answer your question by paying homage to all the sisters and all the teachers that have put their life and everything that they have on the line to make things work.
Let's get them a round of applause. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's give them a round.
Now to answer your question, I'm on a crusade for young Black male teachers. That's why I have my Quibinar series and my webinar series. My Quibinar is teaching methodologies. You can go to my link. We're starting the next session this Tuesday coming up, Quibinars. And we're going to be teaching about the art of study. Because Dr. Angela, we always give children homework and then say go home and study. But has anyone ever taught them how to study?
This is his link tree, y'all. This is his link tree. Pay attention.
Okay. For me, it's important to understand how to teach. Brilliant scholar, Dr. Wade Noble, says that there's a difference between content and intent. Content is what you teach. When you look at that, you'll see that there are webinars. Webinars is content. It's what you teach. Africans in America, the origin of life in Africa. That's content. But then you have intent, which is methodology. And there is not only African content, but there's also African intent. And so in my Quibinars, quick webinars, basically 20 minutes to a half hour, concentrated on how to teach. And for anyone that's a teacher, even a parent that would like to know how to teach because they didn't get this, I have Africanized and brought back to us the way in which we taught our children, because we're whole brain. I have a whole section in my Quibinars on the brain anatomy. If you don't understand brain anatomy, there's no way that you could ever understand how to teach.
Yes.
Yes.
Because you got to understand right now what we're dealing with, right now we're dealing with a concept of the frontal lobe of your brain and the temporal lobe of your brain. Okay. Your frontal lobe is up here. And up here, there's an area known as the Broca system.
Mm-hmm.
This Broca system is the area of speech production. In your temporal lobe, which is underneath your, right above the brainstem,
Mm-hmm.
you have an area known as the Wernicke system, Wernicke. Your Wernicke system is where you have speech comprehension. So here's how it breaks down and how it's important here. What I am doing right now is I am using my Broca system.
Mm-hmm.
I am producing speech.
Mm-hmm.
What you are doing and what the listeners are doing is that you are using your Wernicke system, where you are comprehending, you are understanding what it is that I'm saying.
Right.
Now, King Simon, Dr. Angela, I stop talking and you start talking. You now switch to your Broca system in speech production, and I switch to the Wernicke system. And what we have to teach ourselves is how to put one to the side. When they say, if everybody's talking, nobody can hear. Well, that's what's happening.
Exactly.
If you're using Broca and I'm using Broca, ain't nobody using Wernicke. And the people that are looking at you can't use Wernicke because they're too busy trying to get unconfused by all this Broca system.
And that's the problem I have with the debates, because sometimes nowadays the debates is that just broke. Everybody's broke.
That's it. That's exactly it. And you see, in debate, you learn. And, when I did one of the ones, I think it was the one that was with Brother Polite and Ali Muhammad. You and I were together.
Yes, sir. I was one of the promoters for that. Yes.
And I remember that one of the things that I said about the debate, because by this time there had been a couple of debates.
Yes, it had. Yeah.
And I had said, what's going to happen today is we're searching for Ma'at.
Yes, I remember.
What you'll hear from Brother Polite, listen closely.
Yeah.
What you hear from Ali Muhammad, listen closely. Take the best and leave the rest.
That's what you said. Big up to Sinetta too. Big up to Sinetta. Big up
That's
to Sinetta. Definitely. Yep. Take the best and leave the rest. That's what you said.
Take the best and leave the rest, because it's a balance.
Yes.
There are things that I say people ain't into. Okay, that's fine. Take the best and leave the rest. Don't believe me. I just want you to think. We need to get young brothers. I used to tell young brothers who were teachers, if you stood in front of that class, didn't open your mouth, you'd have an impact on those children just by them looking at a black man in front of them.
So true.
And I know it because of my experiences.
Yes.
I know what the children have told me. I know what children newly arrived from Nigeria have told me. Yes. I know when I taught second grade, there was a sister contact me on Facebook. This is about maybe 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know me as KABA HIAWATHA KAMENE. She knew me as Booker T. Coleman.
Right.
I was her second grade teacher. And she said, she messaged me and said, I just saw Hidden Colors and I saw a man named KABA HIAWATHA KAMENE. And she said, you look just like my teacher in the second grade. Did you teach at, and then gave me to school? And I went back, I said, that's me.
Wow.
This sister was from Burkina Faso. She was newly arrived with her family. And she said, the one thing that I always remember about you is how you loved Africa. And with what I would, now that she looks back, because she was in her 30s maybe now at this time, she was saying, now that I look back on my childhood and the way in which they interacted with African students, I'm talking about the society itself. She said, now that I look back and I see what I was going through, she said, you were a lifeline for me. Because I was from Africa and you loved Africa and people respected you. So if people respected you and you loved Africa, I loved Africa. And that helped me complete my life. We don't know what we're doing with children when we're in front of them.
That's the truth.
And for those that have been around children, there's a lot of different things. You know, I always tell that story about my experience with Malcolm X, the only one that I had with him.
Yes, that's right.
Where I was just looking up at this man. And everybody thought, you know, there was a man that was there that worked in the beauty parlor where my mother was. I was 7. And after Malcolm had spoken and left. Now, I didn't know who this was. I just knew this was a tall man. I was staring at him. And I walked away and I went back into the beauty parlor. He came back in the beauty parlor. He said, man, you're not going to believe who was just outside talking to us. And they said, who was it? He said, you're not going to believe. He said, well, who was it? It was Malcolm X. This is the first time I know who that man was.
Right.
And the man said, just ask that young brother. He was up there looking up at Malcolm. I bet you he'd tell you everything Malcolm said. I can't tell you a thing Malcolm said. Because I was so fascinated with the fact that his skin complexion and his hair was the same color. I had never seen a man whose hair and skin complexion was the same color. I was marveling. I was trying to figure out where his forehead ended and his hair began. Yet my fascination in looking up at him, people thought I was listening to what he was saying.
Exactly.
Dr. Ansley, sometimes children looking at you and they're not even paying attention to what you're saying.
Yep.
They might be looking at something that you have on. They might be looking at something, your hat. They might be looking at your eyes. They might be looking at something standing out. They're not, but they're fascinated with you. You think they're listening to you. They're not even paying attention to what you say.
Not at all. Right.
I'm on a crusade for young Black men in high school.
Right.
To start but I'm looking for HB. See, I have a dream. And my dream is I'd like to work with HBCU's Black Studies programs and education departments. And I'd like to introduce the curricula that I develop. And then I'd like those students to go into the local schools and teach the curriculum. Mm-hmm. Because what I've learned is that I used to bring people that were pledging when I was at New Paltz. I was teaching at a state university upstate New York, New Paltz. Mm-hmm. And part of their crossing over in their fraternity or sorority was to do community events. And so they used to come to me and say, can we come to where you are? Because many of them lived in the Bronx. Some of them lived in Manhattan or Brooklyn. And I used to have them come and they would get their credit for community events to cross over into Alpha or Kappa or Delta. They would get their credits by coming into my school and work with the students. At this time, I was in middle school. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I used to bring them in, for weeks after, the children said, when they coming back? When they coming back? They used to do fun activities with the children, And so I saw the impact that college students had on middle school students. And then I saw how the college students encouraging the students to do good in high school, go to college.
Yeah.
If that's what you want to do. But their sheer representation to the children made an impact. So what I'm looking to do is to be able to develop a relationship between local schools and high schoolers with college with both levels, because it creates a relationship with the local community, but it also introduces our people to our children, which they don't always get. I've done workshops in Indianapolis with second grade teachers of European descent who have told me that they are afraid of their second grade students.
Wow.
I was afraid of my 7th grade students. I'm being very serious. Yes. Okay. 7th and 6th grade.
Okay. Oh. My thing was, I was once looking like that. And I used to say, yo, what's up with you, man? Come on. Get up off that. I mean, they call me, there were times they'd be so, they call me Emma Effa and all sorts of stuff. I said, hold on now. You ever heard me talk to you like that? You ain't never heard me talk to you like that, young brother. I only give you respect. In discussing this with them, talking this out with them, I say, man, I don't talk to you like that. I've always, in fact, when I was getting up this morning, I was looking forward to seeing you. Why do we have to get along like this? I would take those moments to be able to talk to them, to help them understand, look, man, you better understand it between your friends and your enemies.
Yes.
I'm not your enemy. I did not get you mad today. I didn't say nothing to you. Did I say something? Tell me. What did I say that got you upset? Did I say something to you? Did I treat you a certain way that made you want to come at me like that? And they say, no. I said, so why are we like this, man? I say, why don't we just put a pause here and let's go through our day, and later on, we can always come back. But right now I see you hot and I'm on the receiving end, so I ain't feeling it. So why don't we just let this go for now? Instead of sending him to the principal's office, instead of punishing them, I would just ask them, think, man.
Yeah.
Think where you're coming from. Think about what you're doing.
Yes.
This could ruin your day. Because if your mama come up in here because you're going to get suspended for what you just said to me, there's going to be trouble in your house. He said, but I'm not going to do that. I've never called a child's parent in my career.
Wow. Let me get that around applause. I got to get that around applause. They call me on me all the time.
Oh, Lord.
But I want to tell you why so you can understand. Because my psychology is, as I told them, I said, look, man, let me tell you something. I said, you could get in big trouble right now. I said, but let me tell you something. You have to understand one principle right now.
Yes.
If calling your mother going to get you straight, or calling your grandmother going to get you straight, or me putting you into after school punishment is going to get you straight, I am preparing you for prison. I got to make it so that you do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. If I'm wavering around punishing you for doing the wrong thing, I'm preparing you for prison, because now when you get older, you're going to do the right thing only because you're afraid to go to prison. You ain't going to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. And so we have got to return back to a way in which we bring our children to an understanding that you're living in hell, man. You may be an angel, but you're in hell. And even in hell, angels must act devilish. That's why you're in hell. But don't become a devil. Always maintain your angelic nature, but understand you got to survive in hell. When you get back up into heaven, you can get angelic. But right now, you can't get angelic. And if you're in my face, understand something. I got the power right now. I have the power to fail you. And I can send you to summer school, which is going to ruin your summer. And ain't nothing you can do about that. I say, do you want that? So I would always try to, because, well, first of all, I was into radio and television.
Yeah.
When I graduated from college, I graduated with international politics. I wanted to work at the UN, and I wanted to do it through radio and television. Because my first job was in Gary, Indiana. I was teaching radio and television in Gary, Indiana. I was a disc jockey. I had gone out to a black radio station in Gary, Indiana. So I taught radio and television in the high school there, Roosevelt High School, all black high school. So that's originally how I got there. So when I started teaching radio and television, I had not gone through a major in education. So I got into education for the love of education. And so as an educator, I just loved being an educator. I didn't get into it because I had gone through this educational college that never taught me really how to teach. Because as far as I'm concerned, when you go to college and you take courses in education, that's like shadow boxing. And then when you get into the classroom, now you're in the classroom with Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali at their back. That's why when I used to do teacher-student training, when you have to take certain courses, you intern as a teacher.
Yeah.
I used to make my student interns actually teach the class. And if one of the students started acting up, I never got involved. I wanted to see how he or she was going to react.
Handle it, yeah.
Because in a couple of years, you're going to be in that classroom with that young brother. What you going to do? If I get in the way and I correct him and say, sit down, stop that, I'm not helping you. Now, afterwards, we would talk. Sometimes we would talk about how she could have handled it,
right,
or he, what they could have done, what could have made it better. But while it was going on, you have to feel that heat. Because when Kwame is pissed, you got to feel that heat, because you're going to have another 25 Kwames or Ahines that are going to be pissed at you in that classroom. How are you going to handle that? That's why people can't handle the classroom, because the educational system does not prepare you to get into that classroom with Kwame and Ahine. I prepare you for that.
Exactly.
Because I've gone through Kwame and Ahine. I know how to, The hardest hurt are the hardest hurt. When you see our children, the harder they are, the more hurt they are.
The more hurt they are. Yep. Yeah.
And I just, as a black man, don't want to be another thing that's going to come on them and create more hurt. I'm going to go up underneath that. You know, there's a mathematical equation. Hardest hard equals hardest hurt. Okay. In an equation, you cancel out like terms.
Right.
Hard equals hurt. So instead of me dealing with them being hard, I understand that they're hurt.
Yes.
And so now at the same time, Dr. Angela, I don't say put yourself in harm's way, because there's some folk that take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, see, homie, don't play that. I'm no fool. I am just, you're in my care. I am responsible to take you through a process of understanding. You're going to learn this lesson. You're going to learn it the hard way, or you're going to learn it the easy way. The easy way is if you take the counsel of your elders into consideration, right, and adjust your ways. The hard way is when they put you in prison because you didn't learn what you should have done. Or you get punished, or you lose a job, or you don't get hired, or you spend your life always having to trip over the errors that you've made in your life. But you're going to learn the lesson. Life is going to teach you.
Yes.
You ain't getting away with it. So the question is, are you willing to listen to me when you're 12 years old? Or do you want to wait until you're 32 and you figure out you're going to spend the rest of your life having to go to someone else to do their bidding because you didn't do what you should have done for yourself? That's what Malcolm X was teaching us. And that's what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught Malcolm X. And that's what Noble Drew Ali taught Elijah Muhammad, that taught Malcolm X, that taught me. The line of succession of education. And so going back to your question, I shout to the young brothers and sisters out here doing this work. And I want them to know it's going to be all right.
That's right.
It's going to be all right. We have difficult days ahead, but it's going to be all right.
It's going to be all right. Let's get that right as well. That's right. That's right. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
Black excellence.
Let's talk about that, because you're speaking on February the 4th from 1 to 8 p.m. and they got a great lineup, of course, at the Jamaican Performing Arts JPAC. Of course, I've been there before. I've done events there, but big up to Queens, the whole crew. They're coming to Queens. Talk about that, Baba KABA. Please talk about that. How important that is.
Looking forward to returning back to back to Jamaica, Queens.
Yes.
The site of all great things. I'm looking forward to it. The lineup is just, I'm an excellent company.
Yes, you are. Look at all
proud
of that.
to be a part of this activity. I'm proud to be a part of this event. You know, you've got Dr. Susan Tata.
Yes.
She's coming from Europe.
From Europe, yep.
Okay. You know, you've got all of the different speakers that are going to be coming to the community in various ways, and they're going to be dropping some information. And my thing is education. Yes. My thing is educating our children. My thing, sincerely, is nature is not cruel, but she ain't going to give it to you just like that. Black excellence. You have to work at this. And you have to have a thirst for it. Whatever it is in your life that you want to do, it don't make a difference what it is. You have to be excellent at what you do. You know, when you talk to me, you call me up, you say, "Hey man, how you doing?" What do I say? I'm excellent.
Yeah.
That's my response. I'm excellent.
That's right.
And everyone that is going to be there, from those that are the master and mistresses of ceremony,
yes, to
every presenter, to Brand Nubian,
yep,
to Amadeus Christ, who's going to be showing part of his film, Heavy as the Crown.
Yes.
All excellent. I was in a documentary called Secret to Ballin'. Snoop Dogg was in it. Faith Evans was in it. Chris Brown was in it. Michael Beckwith. And when I was out in LA, the brother heard I was in town. He called me up and asked me if I'd be a part of it. And I was telling him that if I could find a time, I would. Long story short, I was in it. the point is that secret to balling, Kenyatta Griggs was attempting to get the young people using all of these other people. See, because when people see Chris Brown, they think that Chris Brown just jumped on the stage and started dancing like that.
You're right.
Didn't realize the hours.
Exactly.
King Simon, in the work that you do.
Yes, sir.
You know, in your promotion.
Not easy.
In all your books that you've written. People say, oh, man, he just do that, man. But you see, when you're good at what you do, Dr. Angela, people think it's easy.
Yeah.
But they don't know it's Black excellence that brought that to you.
That's right.
The dedication to what you're doing. Attention to detail.
Yes.
And that no matter what you do, Dr. Clark used to always tell me, perfect your craft.
Yes.
Don't ever get to the point where you think you got it like that.
Yes.
Always perfect your craft. Get better at what you do. Always know there's room to be better. That's why when people say, you know, I'm always careful saying I retired. I ain't retired. I'm doing more now than I was when I was working.
Exactly.
Because now I'm doing what I was born to do, which is to be on programs with good people like you, to be part of the Black Excellence Conference coming up February 4th. I mean, look at these scholars that are going to be here. This goes back to the golden days, man.
Yep.
This is when you bring these types of scholars together to talk and to develop an understanding of what it is that you're doing and what we have to do. We ain't got time to play no more. We didn't have time before.
Exactly.
But what's happening now is the fact that Western civilization, as you can see, it's falling. My question is, if it falls, see, as horrible as white supremacy is, it at least creates order and arrangement.
Yes.
So even if you are treated the way you are in white supremacy, there's a sense of order and arrangement. The example I give to you is Iraq. Okay. Now, the thing is that no matter how people felt about Saddam Hussein, when they took him out, Iraq fell apart.
Yep.
Same thing with Libya.
Yep.
And Muammar Gaddafi. No matter how they felt about him, when they took him out, Libya split.
That's right.
And the same is true for here. We are now at a point where white supremacy, I can smell rigor mortis in this dead body right now. But my question to my brothers and sisters, what are we going to do? Because if this Dolly House fall, are we in a position, looking at the work of Neely Fuller, are we in a position to control our own spiritual systems, economic systems? Okay. Are we in a position to deal with our labor, hire our own people? Are we in a position to deal with gender issues? He calls it sex. I tend to call it gender issues. Are we as brothers and sisters really respecting each other and building the types of families for the future? How about education? Do we have our own education? See, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. That's my lane, education.
That's right.
I don't get out my lane. I stay in my lane.
That's right. I mean, I don't get out my lane.
Hey, listen, man, I'll tell you something. Dr. Angela, there's one thing that Dr. Ben Carson taught me. He taught me a very valuable lesson. And I often tell people this. You know, when I taught 8th grade language arts, I used his book, Gifted Hands, to teach. I showed like it is when Gil Noble interviewed Dr. Ben Carson. I used to play classical music because he said he played classical music in the operating room.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
I just had such an honor and reverence for this man, for what he had achieved. In his lane, he was a genius.
Yes.
However, contrasting conjunction here. However, when he got out of his lane,
exactly,
he became an absolute idiot.
Right.
like Herschel Walker.
Exactly. Right. Football. Oh man, football. Come on.
He's the baddest. He's one of the baddest. Without a doubt.
When you get out of your lane, an absolute genius can become an absolute fool.
That's the truth.
And everything you have ever done, every time they go into the African American Museum in Washington, D.C., and they come upon that part that talks about his great abilities in medicine, they'll always recall what a fool he became at the end of his life. I stay in my lane.
Me too.
My lane is education.
That's right.
Are we prepared? Yes, I am prepared. The webinars and webinars I have on my website, I got game in education.
That's right.
But when it comes to law, that's Attorney Alton Maddox.
Exactly.
Johnny Cochran. That's
right.
their lane.
That's
Okay.
their lane.
How about when you deal with security? Okay. People in security, that's their lane. Okay. When you get into entertainment, okay, that's their lane.
Exactly.
You might do a little bit of here and there in entertainment. I might do a little bit here and there, because when I did that film, Secret to Ballin', Mathematics of Wu-Tang heard. And he put me on his album. I'm on Wu-Tang's album. Right. The Saga Continues, number 17.
Right. That's right. That's right.
And then you're dealing with politics. Now, I've taken the liberty, with due respect to Dr. Fuller, he does talk about this, but I think it's the 10th area we should focus on, and that's health and nutrition. That's when I go to Queen Afua. That's when I go to Dr. Sebi and Sister Ma'at. Okay? Here we go.
Dr. Fuller, Neely Fuller Jr.
That's it. He cites 9 areas.
Exactly.
And my question to us is, are we as a people in a position to be able to develop those areas? And right now, we got some work that we have to do.
Yes.
And this is what we have to be about right now. And this is what this conference is going to talk about. You've got people coming from all different areas of expertise, riding their cars gloriously in their lane, and they're going to share their knowledge with us. I'm coming with my notebook and my pen.
Exactly.
Because I got notes to take about the genius of these brothers and sisters that are coming. And so this is going to be a phenomenal conference. And it's going to be streamed.
Yes.
So even if you can't get there physically, you can get there streamed. Now, let's just say, for whatever reason, I don't know why it would be, but let's say you're not going to stream and you're not going to be there. Donate.
Yes.
Give them something to be able to make this happen, because this is just the beginning of the possibilities of what can happen. We had the conference in Detroit last year. This is another conference this year. We got to fund. We got to take money. People say that money is the root of all evil, but money is also the root of our emancipation and liberation.
Yeah, exactly.
See, I ain't got a problem with money. It's how you use it that makes the difference.
That's right. That's right.
The computer, I have no problem with the computer. The computer is a phenomenal thing.
Yes.
How you use it. Okay. When you're on Twitter and you're on all these different websites, or you go on the social media, the social media aspect is not what's bad. The platform isn't bad. It's what you do with it.
That's right.
Whether it is good or not good.
That's right.
We have to support ourselves financially.
Yes.
That's part of what we got to do in the economics of this. And we have to see worth and value in this to understand. Brand Nubian been dropping it for a while now.
Yes.
James Smalls is a consultant in The Godfather of Harlem.
That's right.
Okay. The brothers and sisters that are out here now, and okay, you know, Dr. Ben, he didn't go out the way he should have. Dr. Ben did not go out for the man that he was to us. Dr. John G. Jackson did not go out the way he should have gone out. His last book, The Ages of Gold and Silver, was supported by the Atheist Organization. That's who published his work, the last book he wrote, Ages of Gold and Silver.
Wow.
Madeline something O'Hare. Okay. So what we have to do, family, is in looking at what the work we're doing is, we have to understand that if King Simon and Dr. Angela are going to keep doing, you got to spread your wealth. Don't go into poverty, but make it your business that you're going to support the work that King Simon is doing. What he's attempting to tell us about numbers, because I'd be talking about the brother all the time about the number 7.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The brother dropped some knowledge on me and then told my wife about her number.
She bought under the 24th. She's a 6th. She got connected.
Yeah.
And Baba, what's so funny about those two particular numbers are educational numbers where they need to learn and research. Your number is more research and planning. Her number is more education and love and understanding. So she probably brings a certain balance to the life. That's why you've been with her for how long now?
41 years, brother. 42 this next year.
Oh, let's get that a round of applause.
Yeah, man.
Oh, wait a minute.
May 81, brother.
Nowadays, these people can't stay with each other for 42 days.
Oh my goodness, May 81. And I think people ask, what was the secret?
Yes.
And one of the things that I think is very sensual is when you can make each other laugh.
Yes.
Sensuality. I'm not talking sexuality. I'm talking sensuality. Your senses, what you see, what you smell, what you hear, what you think, what you touch, what you taste. When you can make each other laugh. You see, this is why women have a problem being comedians. Because men have a problem submitting to women. And in order to laugh at somebody, you must submit to them because you've allowed them to get into you to make you respond to them. Same way with anger, same way with all of your senses.
Right.
Okay. So that I think that one of the things that keeps people together is the ability to make them laugh.
Yes.
And that you enjoy laughing. And I think that this is something that we have to begin to do even with. This is why comedy is so popular.
Yes.
Unfortunately, of course, you're always ragging on somebody when it comes to comedy. You're always making people, but that's what comedy is. But there are different types of comedy. But everybody wants to laugh.
Yes.
Everybody feels a release of the tensions.
Yes.
And this is why it's so popular.
Yes.
This is why black folk laughed at Richard Pryor. White folk got indigestion. And Paul Mooney.
Yes, my brother.
Whoa, Paul Mooney, Dick Gregory. You could go back.
Yes.
They hit you with that comedy and make you want to say, wait a minute now.
But
Wasn't that funny?
You remember Mom's Mabley used to say, one of my thoughts will make your brain. I forgot what she said, but it was so funny.
That's right. That's right. That's right. When you go back to that point, we did in rap music what we did in comedy. We took it and we manipulated it.
Yeah.
And we told our story, but we made people laugh. In music, we made people dance.
Right.
See, that's who we are. We got it going on. That's Black excellence.
Yes.
That's what we want to talk about on February 4th.
Yes.
Black excellence.
And I want people to get your book also, people. Please get his books, all his books. I got all of his books so far, and I know he got more coming out, but this one I found on the other thing is get this one. This is the last one, right? The latest one, right?
No, this was my second one.
This is the second one.
My third one was Shabaka Stone.
Oh yes, I did get Shabaka Stone, but I moved and I don't have it with me right here. I have it in my boxes here. But
then my latest one I just published, Shabaka Stone for Children.
That's the one I showed earlier.
Yeah,
right. That's the one I showed.
Because I wanted children to understand the importance of the role of cosmology in their life. But I knew I couldn't do it the way in which I would do it with an adult. In my adult book, Shabaka Stone. So what I did is I worked with some graphic designers.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. That's the new book, family. Make sure for children. Shabaka Stone for children, and he has Shabaka Stone. Of course, he has the tribute to William Hansberry. William Leo Hansberry, and of course the spirituality, the one I just showed already, Spirituality Before Religion. Make sure you get the books. Go to his link tree or his website to get all of his links. Baba Kaaba, I want to thank you for coming on, man, and sharing and spreading love the way you always do, my brother. And I respect you immensely. Of course, I can't wait to work with you again. I've lost a few family members. That's why I've been going through some stuff. But, that's the transition of life. I understand that. But I told your son that I'll be calling him and so we can line things up since I'm out here in Georgia. I definitely want to make it happen for you. And please send your book.
And I'm coming out your way sometime in March. Haru and I are coming out in March.
Yeah, he told me, so I'm gonna see what we can do and line something up out here because I got a few places. If you I don't know if you booked to do something or y'all just coming to visit.
What we're coming to do is a documentary. There's a movie coming out called Lake Lanier.
Oh yeah, I was over there the other day. Lake, okay. that was a whole land of black folks that was there.
That's right, Oscarville.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, and that concept is they're going to write a book. Now, what I want to do is I want to do a documentary, but I want to deal with the spiritual aspect of what Lake Lanier actually is saying.
Yes.
Mm.
I want to talk about the ancestors, right, and I want to talk about spirituality. So I want to do a documentary that is going to complement, because I've been in contact with the producers of Lake Lanier.
Good.
Because I've been putting them up on my site. I've been advertising. I put their theater trailer up on Lake Lanier, Lanier.
Yes.
Because see, we got to support each other.
Yeah.
And whatever you're doing, my supporting you is helping me. That's the African tradition.
Right.
It's not competition, it's cooperation.
Right.
And we work together. So I'm coming out to do some work on the documentary, to go out to Oscarville and to just do some work there. But I'm also going to be just doing interviews. So I definitely will be reaching out to you to let you know exactly more the time.
Yeah, so we could do it because Queen Afua is doing a grand opening of a new spot out here also, and I'm doing a tribute to Dr. Laila Africa also. So maybe we could all put that in right there and make it happen, right? Like a weekend, and have a good time.
Man.
I'm gonna talk to Queen and I'm gonna find out. But I thank you very much for coming on again. Thank you. And like you always want to end it, please close out with whatever you want to say, sir, before me and Dr. Angela close out.
To the King Simon and to Dr. Angela, I thank you for this opportunity. I respect and appreciate all that you're doing for all of us. I'm a better person for having had this experience with you, and to the audience that came out.
Yes.
And what I'm saying to the young people, and what I'm saying to us as a people, our ancestors didn't bring us this far to leave us like this.
That's right.
We have difficult days ahead, but we are going to make it to the promised land.
Right.
If we just keep on keeping on, because it ain't over till we win. Solar power is the future wealth of the planet.
That's right.
All power to the people.
All power to the people. Thank you. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you. One love, baby. I love you. Our brother, KABA, HIAWATHA, KAMENE. Lord. We went over real time, but it's good. Time is nothing when he's on, boy.
He was awesome.
He's just one of those guys, and
absolutely.
You could definitely say he comes from the Dr. Clark and the Dr. Ben stock, because they keep you like this.
Yeah. Listen, I wasn't even conscious of the time while he's talking.
I know and you got to work tomorrow. You working tomorrow?
Oh, I teach college now. It's too easy.
Oh, it's too easy.
It's too easy.
Excuse me.
It's too easy. I just do college now. Come on.
She said she could do college blindfolded. So
I can do that blindfolded. That's my lane now. I'm just gonna, as far as the younger kids, I'm just gonna work on building my own school. I can't teach in a public school system. I can't.
You did say you want to do that, and please support her. Let me put up remember, this is all of KABA's information right here. Of course, this is his link tree, but please support Dr. Angela, what she's doing.
Nice.
Love this sister. Like I always say, this sister brought me in when I first released my book. As a matter of fact, before I even got published by Dr. Africa, and I was self-publishing it, you supported me in my book, and she had me come over. And I can do that, family. Come over to your house with you, at least 20 people. And
it is awesome.
Please do
it. We had a good time.
Yeah, we had a good day. Everybody got a book, and everybody got a good 10-minute, a minute, or half an hour reading. I think.
No, you did 30 minutes. You did 30 minutes.
30-minute reading for everybody and all that wanted it. And how's that young sister that was born December 13th? That she was one of your cousins, a heavy-set sister, a little cousin. But she was there. She was going through some stuff. I don't want to go get into it.
She's kind of leveled out now. She got married and everything, so she's much better.
What? Give her a round of applause.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
She's good.
I remember her. She was so nice. Yes. Well, Dr. Angela, I want to thank you very much for being my guest co-host.
Thank you for having me.
And tell your husband I send my greetings, man. Can't wait to meet him. I'm going to be in town from the 6th to the night. So I know we probably won't come. My son's birthday and they want to go roller skating and all kinds of stuff.
But just let me know, even if it's 5 minutes. You gotta
be roller skating in New Jersey, at Newark, New Jersey. I might be roller skating out there. That's
so we'll roll up on you.
I like to roller skate, yo. But I'm staying in Manhattan. I'm staying on not too far from 59th Street. So I'm not gonna be you're in the Bronx, right? You're in the Bronx. Mm-hmm. So I'm not staying there. So you may come down. A friend of mine.
We'll come check you out.
Yeah, a friend of mine owned a nice Airbnb not too far from Trump Plaza. So I'm staying over there. So big up to her, Mama Ella. Make sure I'll send y'all the link if y'all want that type of Airbnb. It's a nice noise. Okay. I gotta sound like my girl Tiffany Haddish. It's nice. This is nice. Right. Big up to Mama Ella, and love you, man. Be safe and have a good night. All right. Thank you. Give a round of applause for one the only Dr. Angela.
Thank you.
Peace. Oh man. Woo. Man, my girl, Dr. Angela. Yes. I hope y'all enjoyed the show, family. KABA, KAMENE, dropped it like it's hot. Make sure you go to his website, www.kabakamene.com. His Linktree is KABA KAMENE. Of course, Linktree/KABA KAMENE. And he got his books. He got all of that, the webinars, all of that. If you're a teacher, he's looking for Black men coming out of high school or college, coming out of college, but specifically out of high school that wants to be teachers, especially Black men, because there ain't no Black teachers, that many Black men teachers inside them schools. But big up to my brother Quasi, who's also a teacher in Jersey. So big up to him all the time. I know he's doing what he got to do out there. And again, family, big up to the people right here on Instagram watching. We're also on YouTube right here, King Simon. And I want to thank every new person for watching, all new viewers for coming in. Shout y'all out. Y'all have helped me build the channel. I'm going up, so that's good. And remember, it's not about the quantity. I have quality people. That's why I have like 18,000 quality people. And that's why this is called King Simon Presents Only Quality People, as you can see on this flyer right here. King Simon Presents Only Quality People. All right, so before we close out, I want to make sure, before y'all leave, I want to make sure we say, I want to play this. Well, I'm not going to play the disclaimer until after we say this prayer, because after this prayer, I'm not coming back up on after this. We're just going to run down the commercials, and that's it. But I want to make sure that y'all get the prayers from Dr. Blair. First of all, here's an affirmation from Dr. B. Serious. Affirmation for elders and the millennials. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection. I forgive myself, my family, and others for imperfection, because none of us are perfect in this realm. Remember that. Dr. B. Serious, thank you for giving me that. And we're going to close out with Dr. Blair, and then I'm just going to run down the commercials after that. And then, of course, they're going to run the disclaimer. Okay, here we go. Everybody take a deep breath. Everybody that's watching, take a deep breath. We're going to close out with Dr. Delbert Blair's prayer. And if you do want to support Dr. Delbert Blair's legacy shop, please go to his metacenter2.com. That's www.themetacenter2. He got magnets. They got diodes for your phone. They got Faraday tech. They teach how to grow food at your own home. They teach you how to do aeroponics. They teach you how to do solar energy, all of that. Big up to Dr. Blair and Tony, brother Tony, who was his right-hand man. www.themetacenter2. Go to that. And everybody, let's close out with this prayer. This is the prayer that Dr. Delbert Blair gave all of us. But many of y'all young people don't know he gave this to us about 20 years ago. And it's called Please, Universal Creator. Here we go. Ja, Lee, 2. Please, Universal Creator, know in my heart that I love you. Please protect me and this planet on which I live now. Please open my mind, my spirit, and my soul to receive only truth and your love now. I'm going to say it one more time for the people in the back in a unified fashion. Here we go. Please, Universal Creator, know in our hearts that we love you. Please protect us and this planet on which we live now. Please open our minds, our spirits, and our souls to receive only truth and your love now. We want to thank Dr. Delbert Blair, one of the greatest metaphysics teachers in the world, for sharing his love. Make sure you go to his website. Show him love. Show his legacy some love. And family, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank KABA HIAWATHA for coming through. Thank Dr. Angela for being my special guest host. And thank you, the audience, for coming through. I say big up to my brothers from Urban X. Big up to Third World, or Third Eye. For this Third Eye Print, I believe it's called Third Eye Print. I forgot the name of the company, but this is Urban X right here. And again, we want to thank KABA HIAWATHA. And like Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad used to say, regardless of land, label, or language, there's but one God. And like Marcus Mosiah Garvey says, up, you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will. One love, one aim, one destiny. And like the great Dr. Maya Angelou always says, and still we rise. Take care, family. Have a great evening. Be safe. One love.
Content disclaimer. The views, comments, and opinions expressed by guest speakers or authors on this YouTube channel do not necessarily reflect or represent the views and opinions held by this channel's broadcasters and its sponsors. Parental guidance is advised. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teachers, scholarship, education, and research. For fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed.
Hey, this is King Simon. Remember, make sure you go to my website, kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com, or Linktree at King Simon the Numero Beta. Get all 4 of my books, and of course, that's the Numerovation for Mental Stability. Numbers are simple, people are complicated. Numbers are simple, children's health is important, and no promotion is bad promotion. Just spell my name right. Make sure you get them now on all my links. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Go now.
Peace and power, family. I'm Dr. Shakira Moore, and I'm excited to share with you this powerful event that's happening on February 11th, 2023. The inner alignment through your eyes and your numero. It's the joining of 2 ancient systems helping you to tap in and access your divine blueprint. I will be teaching a mini masterclass on iridology that will only be available in this workshop. After this class, you will walk away knowing the mystery to longevity via your iris, how to identify colors and patterns in your iris to avoid chronic disease, preparing your children for supreme health with iridology, and so much more. It is time for you to unlock unlimited potential and your internal greatness, because you are great. I'll see you in class. Peace and power.
Number 7 year that we're going into, that 2023, the word, like she said in this book, Anne-Marie Uber says in her book, Synchronicity, the synchronicity is that it's the student number and you're there in that year to learn. Every one of you born under any or connected to any number, you need to learn, and you need to internally learn about yourself so you can be externally great and reveal your greatest self.
There is a beauty that comes that only comes when you know exactly who you are. You're glorious. When you know the power of your own divinity. To be fully human and fully divine. Every single thing about you is beautiful. Every single thing about you is beautiful. I am divine. I am divine. Every single thing. I am fully human. Every single thing. I am every single thing. I am brilliant. Every single thing. I am gorgeous.
Inner Alignment Workshop Through Your Eyes and Your Numero with Dr. Shakira Moore and King Simon on February 11, 2023. Dr. Shakira and King Simon. Get your tickets now at Linktree/King Simon the Numerator.
Some people think that this esoteric knowledge is for the rich and powerful, when in actuality, the so-called 85% has a spark in them that if it is sparked through numerology, astrology, motivation, whatever, it will raise them up from an 85%, maybe to a 10%, and eventually they become the 5%, the poor or prosperous righteous teachers. You gotta understand that this knowledge is not just for one class of people. We gotta get out of the class.